What if the single most recommended activity for a healthy heart was, for millions, a hidden path to cardiac disaster? Every day, you walk, confident you're doing the best thing for your body, believing each step is a deposit into your bank of longevity. But a growing body of research is uncovering a terrifying paradox. A specific, nearly universal way of walking may actively increase long-term strain on your cardiovascular system. This isn't about how much you walk. It's about a fundamental error in movement, so common it's considered normal, that turns your daily health ritual into a silent stress test. This isn't speculation. Preliminary findings are correlating specific gait abnormalities, subtle postural flaws with increased arterial stiffness. The data suggests that for every inch your head is misaligned forward, your heart may have to work significantly harder to maintain baseline oxygenation. If you want to understand these hidden forces and learn how to protect your heart from dangers hiding in plain sight, make sure you subscribe and enable notifications. We aren't here to tell you to stop walking. We're here to show you how to do it right, for life. The problem lies in what we call postural debt. Your body is a system of kinetic chains. When you walk, you're not just moving your legs. You're engaging your core, spine, and shoulders. A small, habitual mistake like letting your shoulders slump sends a ripple effect of inefficiency throughout the entire system. Think of it like driving a car with poor alignment. The car still moves, but the engine works harder and the structure is under constant, unnecessary stress. Your daily walk, when performed with these common postural flaws, does the exact same thing to your body's most critical engine, your heart. But how does a slumped shoulder translate to cardiac risk? The mechanism is insidious. Improper posture, particularly the forward head and rounded shoulders of modern life, physically compresses your thoracic cavity. This reduces the space your lungs have to expand, leading to shallower breathing and lower blood oxygen. To compensate, your heart is forced into a state of chronic, low-grade overdrive. It must beat faster and pump harder to deliver oxygen. Over years, this sustained workload can contribute to hypertension and inflammation within arterial walls, creating the perfect conditions for a cardiovascular event. It's a silent tax on your heart with every step. The most dangerous part: these mistakes are invisible. You don't feel pain or strain until the damage is underway. They are silent saboteurs, programmed into your muscle memory from years of sitting and looking at screens. Research suggests over 90% of adults commit at least one of three major postural errors every time they walk. These aren't minor quirks. They are fundamental flaws. In a moment, we will dissect the first and most pervasive of these: the forward fall fallacy. You think leaning forward helps you walk faster, but we're about to show you how it puts a dangerous, direct brake on your heart. To understand how these seemingly minor mistakes wreak havoc on your heart, you must first see the body for what it is: a perfectly interconnected kinetic chain. A fault in one link doesn't just stay there. It sends a cascade of dysfunction up and down the entire system. The first and most common fault link is forward head posture. It's the posture of modern life staring at screens, driving, slumping over a desk. But it's far more than a cosmetic issue or a source of neck pain. It's a direct impediment to your body's ability to breathe efficiently, and therefore, a direct stressor on your heart. For every inch your head moves forward from its neutral position, it effectively adds 10 pounds of weight for the muscles in your neck and upper back to support. This immense strain isn't just muscular. It critically tightens the accessory breathing muscles in your neck, which then pull upwards on your upper rib cage. This action physically restricts the movement of your most important respiratory muscle, the diaphragm. A diaphragm that cannot fully descend means your breaths become shallower. You take in less oxygen with every single inhalation. To compensate for this lower oxygen supply, your heart is forced to beat faster and pump harder to deliver the necessary oxygen to your tissues. With every step you take in this posture, you're essentially forcing your heart to run a sprint while your lungs are only allowed to jog. This forward head posture almost inevitably leads to the second critical error: a slumped chest, or what clinicians call thoracic kyphosis. As the head drifts forward, the upper back rounds to counterbalance the weight, causing the shoulders to roll inward and the chest to collapse. Think of this as creating a physical cage that slowly closes in on your heart and lungs. This is not a metaphor. It's a mechanical reality. The volume of your thoracic cavity, the very space your vital organs occupy, is measurably reduced. This direct physical compression gives the heart less room to fully expand and contract. Each beat becomes a struggle against its own collapsing container, demanding more energy and putting more strain on the cardiac muscle just to perform its baseline function. The cascade continues down to the foundation of your posture, the pelvis. Poor pelvic alignment, whether it's tilted too far forward or backward, fundamentally alters your body's shock absorption system. An aligned pelvis allows the natural curves of the spine to dissipate the impact forces of walking, distributing them safely throughout the body. But a misaligned pelvis disrupts this system, turning every footfall into a jarring impact that travels up the spine. This chronic low-level physical trauma triggers a systemic inflammatory response, and modern cardiology is unequivocal. Chronic inflammation is a primary catalyst for atherosclerosis, the gradual hardening and clogging of the arteries that directly leads to heart attacks. Your walk literally becomes a source of internal, artery-damaging stress. These three errors, forward head, a slumped chest, and a misaligned pelvis, are not isolated issues. They form a vicious, self-reinforcing cycle of biomechanical failure. The forward head creates the slump, which is often compensated by the pelvic tilt. Together, they lock the body into a state of permanent, low-grade cardiovascular stress. You have a system starved for oxygen due to a restricted diaphragm, a heart being physically squeezed by a collapsing chest, and arteries being inflamed by a jarring gait. It's a trifecta of silent damage. This isn't about one bad walk. It's about the cumulative impact of millions of compromised steps, turning a healthy habit into a long-term assault on your heart. The biomechanical chain reaction we've described isn't a theoretical model. It's a measurable physiological burden. To see the true impact, we turn to hard data, where the link between posture and cardiac load becomes documented fact. Researchers in sports medicine and gerontology have been quantifying this for years. Studies in applied physiology and cardiology journals consistently reveal a powerful correlation. They show that deviations from an efficient gait, the very errors we've discussed, place a tangible, quantifiable strain on the heart, forcing it to work harder with every step. This isn't speculation. It's a pattern observed repeatedly in controlled clinical settings. At the core of this evidence is a concept known as gait economy. Think of your body like a car. With perfect alignment, it moves efficiently, using the least amount of fuel. But if the wheels are misaligned, the engine must burn far more fuel just to maintain speed. Your cardiovascular system is that engine. Poor posture is the misalignment. When your head is forward and your shoulders are slumped, you are fighting your own anatomy. Your muscles must fire constantly to counteract gravity, demanding an elevated and continuous supply of oxygenated blood. Your heart is forced to provide this, increasing its workload, not for strenuous exercise, but simply to support a fundamentally inefficient walking pattern. This increased workload appears in several critical cardiovascular markers. For instance, multiple studies show individuals with forward head posture, or thoracic kyphosis, have a higher resting heart rate. Their heart works harder, even when they're still. During exertion, like a simple walk, the difference is stark. Their heart rate and blood pressure spike more dramatically and take longer to return to baseline compared to those with neutral posture. It's a clear sign of a system under chronic, low-grade stress. If you've ever felt your heart pounding during a walk, that should feel easy. Or if this concept resonates with you, hit that like button and share your experience in the comments. This is far more common than people realize. Perhaps the most compelling metric is VO2 max, a gold standard for measuring cardiovascular fitness. It represents the maximum amount of oxygen your body can utilize during intense exercise. Research from physical therapy and rehabilitation journals shows a direct link between poor posture and a reduced VO2 max. The mechanism is twofold. First, a slumped chest physically restricts the diaphragm, limiting how much oxygen you can actually inhale. Second, because the heart is already working overtime just to support the inefficient posture, it has less reserve capacity to deliver oxygen to the muscles when they truly need it. You hit your physical ceiling sooner, not because your muscles are weak, but because your posture is creating an oxygen bottleneck. Now, for full transparency, it's important to understand the nature of this evidence. Most of these studies establish a strong correlation, not direct, long-term causation. It would be unethical to force people to walk with poor posture for decades, just to see if they have more heart attacks. However, the conclusion's strength comes from the convergence of all the evidence. We have the clear biomechanical principles, showing how it happens. We have the short-term clinical data showing the immediate, measurable cardiovascular strain. And we have the long-term observational data linking poor posture to negative health outcomes. When you put all these pieces together, the picture becomes undeniably clear. How you walk directly and significantly impacts the long-term health of your heart. Having understood the immense mechanical strain and inefficient gait places on your heart, we now arrive at the most crucial juncture, the correction. The solution isn't about a radical, overnight transformation. but a conscious, gradual recalibration of a lifelong habit. This requires shifting from passive walking, simply moving from one point to another, to active mindful movement. Think of it not as a chore, but as a form of dynamic meditation, where each step is an opportunity to reinforce a healthier pattern. The goal is to re-educate your neuromuscular system, teaching it a new, more efficient language of motion. This process begins not in your feet, but in your mind, with the simple intention to move with purpose and awareness. It's about transforming your daily walk from a source of hidden stress into a powerful tool for cardiovascular conditioning and structural integrity. Let's begin from the top down. The single most impactful cue is to imagine a string attached to the crown of your head, gently pulling you upward towards the sky. This simple visualization instantly elongates your spine, decompressing the vertebrae and creating space. As your head floats up, allow your chin to tuck slightly, aligning your ears over your shoulders. This corrects the damaging forward head posture that restricts breathing. Next, address your shoulders. Instead of letting them slump forward, gently roll them up, back, and then let them relax down. Imagine you are trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. This action opens your chest, freeing the thoracic cavity and giving your heart and lungs the physical space they need to function optimally. This isn't a rigid, military stance. It should feel tall, open, and relaxed. With your upper body aligned, we move to your powerhouse, the core. Proper posture is impossible without an engaged core. To activate it, gently pull your navel in towards your spine, as if you're bracing slightly for a nudge. This is not about sucking in your stomach. It's a subtle but constant engagement that stabilizes your pelvis and supports your lower back. This stability prevents the excessive pelvic tilt that strains the lumbar spine and disrupts the entire kinetic chain. Now, consider your arms. They should swing freely and naturally from the shoulder, not the elbow, acting as counterbalances to your legs. Your stride should feel fluid, with your foot landing underneath your center of gravity, rolling from the heel or midfoot through to the toe in a smooth, propulsive push-off. To make this new posture sustainable, you must strengthen the muscles that support it. 3 simple, at-home exercises are profoundly effective. First, the glute bridge. Lie on your back, with knees bent and feet flat, then lift your hips towards the ceiling, squeezing your glutes. This awakens the primary muscles that stabilize your pelvis. Second, the bird dog. On all fours, extend one arm forward and the opposite leg backward, keeping your core tight and your back flat. This builds cross-body stability, essential for a balanced gait. Finally, wall angels. Stand with your back against a wall and slide your arms up and down like you're making a snow angel, keeping your elbows and wrists in contact with the wall. This powerfully corrects rounded shoulders and strengthens the upper back. Implementing these changes requires patience and consistency, not perfection. Don't try to maintain this perfect form for your entire walk on day 1. You'll only create new tension. Instead, practice postural check-ins. For 1 minute out of every 5, consciously run through the cues. String on the head, shoulders back and down, core engaged. Then relax and walk normally. As the supporting muscles get stronger, and the new pattern becomes more familiar, gradually increase the duration of these check-ins. You are overwriting decades of muscle memory. Be kind to your body. The goal is a gradual, comfortable integration, turning these conscious corrections into your new, unconscious, heart-healthy stride. This consistent, mindful practice is the true key to lasting change. We've now armed you with the science and the practical techniques. But the greatest challenge lies ahead, transforming this knowledge into an unconscious, lifelong habit. For decades, your brain has perfected a specific way of walking. These neural pathways are deeply ingrained, making your current posture feel normal, even if it's inefficient. To change this, you must consciously and repeatedly forge new pathways. This is the essence of neuro. It's not about forcing a change overnight. It's about giving your brain consistent, gentle signals that there is a better, more efficient way to move. Every single step you take with mindful intention is a small act of rewiring your own brain, building a foundation for a healthier future, one stride at a time. The goal isn't perfection, but persistent, conscious effort. To make this change sustainable, you must integrate it seamlessly into your daily life. Don't try to maintain perfect form for your entire walk from day 1. You'll likely become frustrated and quit. Instead, adopt a simple strategy. The first 5 minutes. For the first 5 minutes of any walk, whether it's to the mailbox, across the office, or for exercise, dedicate your full attention to your form. Feel the string pulling your head tall, engage your core, and let your arms swing freely. After those 5 minutes, Allow yourself to relax. This small, manageable dose of practice, repeated daily, is far more powerful than one heroic effort per week. You can also use environmental cues. Every time you walk through a specific doorway or pass a certain landmark, use it as a trigger to perform a quick posture check. This principle of consistency over intensity is paramount. Your body and brain learn through repetition, not brute force. By focusing on small, achievable bursts of mindful walking, you are gradually teaching your neuromuscular system that this new posture is the default. Over weeks and months, you'll find that what once required intense concentration begins to feel natural and effortless. You'll start to self-correct without even thinking about it. This gradual adoption prevents the mental fatigue that derails so many attempts at changing long-standing habits. Remember, you are not just correcting your posture. You are fundamentally upgrading your body's operating system for movement. And that kind of software update happens incrementally, not all at once. So, let's bring it all together. We started by revealing a hidden risk. The way you walk, a simple, everyday activity, could be placing a subtle but chronic strain on your heart. We then delved into the science, explaining how poor gait economy forces your cardiovascular system to work harder with every single step. Finally, we provided you with a practical guide to building a heart-healthy stride, simple, actionable corrections to realign your body and reduce that unnecessary cardiac load. The journey from understanding the problem to implementing the solution is now complete. You possess the knowledge to turn every walk into an opportunity to strengthen your body, not strain it. Before you begin implementing these changes, a crucial word of caution is necessary. The information presented here is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. You must consult with your doctor or a qualified physical therapist before making any significant changes to your physical activity, especially if you have pre-existing cardiovascular conditions, musculoskeletal issues, or any other health concerns. They can provide personalized guidance and ensure these techniques are safe and appropriate for you. Now that you've mastered how to walk for your health, what about the silent damage being done while you sit? In our next video, we uncover the hidden dangers of your office chair. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss it.